Hi, I'm Francis Beau, and I'm back on the Beau Show. I just came back from YMCA Surf Camp. It was a lot of fun. If anyone who went there, you know how great that experience was because it was a great week. Now I'm back. I'm a little bit tired, but I'm here to make a video for you guys today regarding Comic-Con 2015. Comic-Con 2015 is happening this week. It's just about to wrap up tomorrow. And we got most of the reveals out of the way regarding Transformers. And that's what we do on this channel. We talk about anything Transformers related. And Comic-Con 2015 is definitely one of those times where Transformers gets the reveals. So let's start off with some of the small stuff, and then we'll go up to the big things, like the Combiner War stuff and beyond that. So we're first going to talk about on this part. This is part one. We're mainly talking about the toys. This is the toys. And then part two is going to be about the TV show Robots in Disguise and many little other things that they revealed, because there's a lot of other things that I want to talk about. But this is the first part. I'm just going to talk about the toys and anything else that they revealed. So we'll first start off with Robots in Disguise. So Robots in Disguise right now for a toy line, it's decent. It's a decent toy line. There's a few good toys that have been coming out for Robots in Disguise, and at BotCon 2015. Unfortunately we're not given that many big reveals. There weren't that many substantial reveals, anything bigger, anything smaller, nothing big regarding Transformers, and that's kind of disappointing because I kind of wanted to see something. Unfortunately, Comic-Con 2015 did the same idea. Not that many big reveals regarding Robots in Disguise, toy-wise. But we still got some reveals, and I'll talk about some of them right now. And the one that's the most interesting one is we are getting a Legion class Windblade. Now, I am going to assume this because this is my opinion. I'm going to assume that Hasbro is not going to make a Warrior class Windblade. I just don't think so. I think that the Generations Windblade is our Robots in Disguise Windblade. It's generally the same thing, and it's generally going to be the same concept, because if you look at the concept of Robots in Disguise Windblade, it's roughly the same thing as the Generations Windblade. So, me personally, I don't know if Hasbro will be making a Warrior class Windblade, but if they were to do it, it'll be very, very similar to the Generations Windblade. And if they don't, the Generations Windblade is definitely the one to go. So, that's just my personal reference and personal preference, and that's what I assume that's going to happen with that particular character, if we do get a larger version of it. Next one is Thunderhoof. Thunderhoof got a one-step change toy, and now it's getting a Legion class toy. A lot of people, including myself, have been saying we need to get a Warrior class Thunderhoof, because the character and the way that character is made in the show, he definitely deserves a Warrior class. He definitely deserves something bigger than a Legion and one-step changer, because I would love to have a toy of Warrior class Thunderhoof. I'd like to have him roughly a little bit bigger than Bumblebee, but he still would be a cool toy in Warrior class form. He definitely deserves it because he's one of the main villains in the show, and he plays a key role in the Decepticon area, and he's a very interesting character, and I'd like to see him have a bigger toy and give a little bit more justice. So there's that. The other thing that's very interesting about these Legion classes, I'm not going to talk about the Patrol Strongarm or the Drift, because those are just repaints, and one of them is just Drift. Drift already has a Warrior class, so I don't really care about that. The one that I do want to talk about is Ultra Magnus. Ultra Magnus is like it's always been. It's a repaint of an Optimus Prime toy, and it is a repaint of the Legion class Optimus Prime from Robots in Disguise. Now, the cool thing about this is they showed off the packaging for Ultra Magnus, and what's very interesting to me is that it is essentially Ultra Magnus, but it has that prime head of Ultra Magnus. Is it telling me that Ultra Magnus is going to be one of the characters that returns to Robots in Disguise? That would be very interesting, and I would love to see him return. And he would make, in my opinion, he'd make a very key role if he did return. So, because they did say they are going to return characters in Season 2, and hopefully Ultra Magnus is one of those characters, because he seems like a character that I would like to see more explored, because I think in Season 3, Ultra Magnus wasn't given that much justice. I think that he was one of those new characters that were just put in. I would like to see him evolve more as a character in Robots in Disguise if he were to return. So, hopefully they give him more justice in the new show if he does appear. So there's that. That's all they had for Robots in Disguise, unfortunately. Like I said, really wish we get more warrior classes for the Decepticons, because they really deserve it, and I hope that we do get more. Predictions for me is that we are going to see, in my opinion, we are going to see the warrior classes, Decepticons, or more warrior classes at New York Comic Con, which will be happening in October. Hopefully we'll get some reveals there, but for now we have not gotten anything, and hopefully we do get more at New York Comic Con, because that's probably the last thing we'll probably get bigger-wise for Transformers. So that is it for Robots in Disguise. Kind of disappointing. I kind of wish they had more, and wish they had more to show off than what they did. So that's a little bit unfortunate. So there's that. So now let's get into Combiner Wars. There's a lot of things going on regarding Combiner Wars, and we're gonna start off with some of the small stuff that they revealed, which I think is the most interesting things, and then we'll get to the big ones. So the first we need to talk about is a new Voyager class that they revealed. We are getting Scattershot. Scattershot is a heavy retool of Combiner Wars Silverbolt. This is the third time that this mold has been, this is the fourth time that this mold has been used, and I really appreciate it. It looks really, really nice. Very, very G1-y, and very nice looking. So, very, very appreciated, and I really appreciate the look of the toy. As of this recording, they have not announced Technobots yet, or if they are going to announce Technobots. So, hopefully we do get it. I mean, that'd be a huge waste if they don't do Technobots. So, we are going to get Technobots. Just wait. We are going to get Technobots, and we know we're probably going to get that announcement very, very soon. So yeah, he also can combine it with the other Autobots. He's going to be called Pectatron or something like that. So the interesting thing about the combined form is that he still has the Superion head, and that is a little bit unfortunate. I hope that they retool that to make it a little more Computron look, and if we do get Technobots. So if we do get Technobots, I hope they retool that, but if they don't, that's fine. I mean, I would have liked it to be a Computron head, but that's okay if it's going to be Superion. So there's that. The other thing that we need to talk about that is another big thing they revealed regarding Combiner Wars is the Generation 2 sets. These are going to be 2 box sets. One of them is Superion and Menasor. And let's first talk about Superion. Superion in the Generation 2 colors, in my opinion, looks very, very cool. He looks really nice in the Generation 2 colors. First of all, very, 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 very nice accuracy to the original Generation 2 Superion. And all the other area bots look nice, and they just look good. I really like the look of it. It is going to be a box set. I'm going to assume this is going to be a BBTS thing. So hopefully we might get some news from BBTS or something. And so I'll definitely pick this up because this definitely is a set that looks nice, and I might pick it up just for the creativity of it. So there's that. The other thing that was the other Generation 2 set, like I said, is Menasor. I'm not sure if I'll get this one. This one is, I don't know why, but Menasor, even just the original, like the regular Combiner Wars Menasor, doesn't look that impressive to me. I was hoping that they do a little bit more with that figure, or more of that combined form, because it seems a little bit hulky. It seems a little bit more bulky than it should be, and that's not the combined form's fault. It's just it's just how the toy was designed. But I don't know why, but I never liked that, and same thing goes with this set. I don't know why, but the Generation 2 look of the figures don't really fit in for me, because even the Generation 2 Menasor back then, I think those were very, very obscure colors, and, it was the 90s, I mean, it was all about obscure colors, but I think this one was kind of the weakest of the bunch, but I might pass on it just because I'm not a huge fan of the Menasor, but if I were to get it, I might just get it just because for the creativity of it, because it looks really good for the creativity behind it. But as for as Menasor as a toy, I hope they do more to it than it should be. So there's that. So let's talk about the next thing that everyone's talking about. Obviously, this is the one that everyone wants me to talk about. The fan build combiner Victorian. They revealed it at San Diego Comic-Con, and everyone wants me to talk about it. So I can't remember all the names. It's going to be a all-female. It's going to be an all-female combiner. It's all 5 of the figures are female bots, and honestly, looking at it dead on, just from the combined form and all the figures, I really don't appreciate it. I'm a little bit surprised because, well, my reaction is I'm surprised, and at the same time I'm not surprised. So let me give you my surprise version. The surprise version is it's all the same color. I really don't like it when a combined form has to have all the same colors. It really makes all the figures not really that much for talk-wise, because once you look at all the figures, they're pretty much the same thing. Literally, because we have 2 breakdowns, 2 Alpha Bravos, and 1 hotspot. You're mainly getting 3 figures. That is all you're getting. And the combined form, I'll admit, looks nice. I just don't know why they did it all in the same color. But here's the other thing that came to me. Now looking at it, honestly, when you look at this, the way they designed Victorian and the pieces they used for Victorian, I don't know how you could have done this without being the same color. I mean, it doesn't really. What I'm trying to say here is, I don't know how you could have translated this combined form into different colors. Like, can you imagine this, like having the legs white, having the upper torso yellow, and having the others having a right arm red and a right arm blue? It wouldn't translate well. We'd be going back to the Ultra Prime and Optimus Maximus, or the other Optimus mode there is. They just don't work. So having it in the same color makes it better, but at the same time, I don't appreciate it being the same color, because that just means that all the toys are going to be identical, and I just don't like that. They're all the same. They all have the same color material, and they just don't work for me. It doesn't really work for me, and I just don't appreciate it that it has to be the same color. I wish that Hasbro would have worked in a way to make this translate better as a combiner, not just one huge robot with separate, components that look identical. I just wish they would have been separate characters. I wish it would have been kind of like the aerial bots and Protectobots. Sure, they're similar in their fashions, but they all look different because they all have different characters and different looks to them. And that's what I loved about the Protectobots and the aerial bots in Combiner Wars. This doesn't translate as much of a character. It just tells me that this is a combiner. That is all this is telling me. So, will I pick this up? Maybe. This is going to be a set, so again, I don't know if this is going to be a BBTS thing, because, it's a set, or it might be just a Hasbro thing. But just looking at it, I am not very surprised with it. I'm not really happy with it. I wish there would have been a little bit more to it, and honestly, I want a little bit more out of it. Even the separate modes, I mean, they're all the same color, and I don't appreciate the separate modes of the colors. I really don't appreciate that. I will admit, though, I love the sword. In the combined form, I love the look of the sword. It looks really good. Someone actually made this point, and it's a very key point, thinking about it. The sword reminds you a lot of the lightning bug from the one of the Generation 1 episodes. Looking at that, I could actually see that. And if that's what that is, that's a really cool homage to the Generation 1 episode. Cosmic Rust, that's what it's called. So, yeah, overall Victorian, I mean, it's a nice look. I just don't understand why it has to be the same color, but at the same time, I can understand where they're coming from and why they had to do it. So there's that. Nothing really else. There's nothing really bigger news that they revealed. Takara revealed a bunch of other stuff regarding the Transformers Adventure line, but I'm not going to get into that yet. There was some Loyal Subject stuff and some Prime 1 statues. There were some pretty other stuff, but you know, the prominent stuff that I just talked about, that's the stuff that they revealed. And overall, the reveals were pretty decent. I like the stuff that we got, and I like that we are getting Generation 2 box sets. I love the creativity above that, but honestly, I kind of expect that. Let's be honest, we kind of expected Generation 2 sets, because remember Fall Cybertron Bruticus? We got a Generation 2 set. Now after that, we knew that we were going to expect Generation 2 sets. I expected Generation 2 sets out of these, so I'm happy that we're getting them, and I'm definitely picking up the Superion. Menasor, I still need to think about. Victorian is a figure that I really need to keep looking at, because, again, I do not appreciate it being all the same color. I wish they would have done a little bit better, and, you know, I just hope that they do improve upon that figure, and they do a little more to it. So, overall, Comic-Con 2015 for Transformers news, pretty good. I like the reveals of the Generation 2 sets. I wish that they had more for Robots in Disguise. Robots in Disguise is a great cartoon. I love the cartoon. It's a cool cartoon. They just need to have a lot more to it. They really, really do. So, oh, also before I forget, I know that you guys are telling me to go back to my recaps on the Robots in Disguise episodes. Monday will definitely be that day when I go back to my recaps. I just have to refresh a little bit, because I just came back literally like yesterday. So I just need to recap and have a little bit of a debrief and rest up a little bit, and then we'll come back to those recaps. So bear with me. I will be back on those recaps very, very soon. So that's it for the Comic-Con news. I really liked some of the reveals that they did, and I want to know how you guys felt about the Comic-Con news. Did you guys appreciate it? Do you think they should have been a little bit more? And what do you guys think of the Fan Belt Combiner? Do you think it's going to be a success or a failure? So that's it. I hope you guys enjoyed it. And as we always find out in these videos, Beau out.